Hello everyone, welcome to Drishtikon series where we are bringing to you students from IIM Tiruchirappalli who have recently won case competitions and they'll be sharing their learnings with us so that we as students can take this approach and win case competition ourselves. For this, me and Siddheshwar today are interviewing Harshad, Gauri and Nijan who come from different backgrounds, and as part of this series we would also understand their team formation. So why not you guys introduce yourself and in the process please tell us about your team formation as well.
Hi, my name is Nijan. I am from Kerala. So I did my bachelor's and master's from Indian Institute of Science, majoring in biology. After that, I joined an edu startup in Bangalore called Curiosity. Worked there for almost 3 years before joining for MBA in IIM Tiruchirappalli. Post that, I was very interested in case comms from the start itself. That's where I met Gauri. I think Gauri can introduce.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Gauri. I come from Kerala as well. I did my UG from VIT Vellore. I did it in BTech Electronics and Communication with a specialization in biomedical engineering. Post that, I took a 6-month break and then joined IIM Trichy for my MBA. Yeah, and then I think case competition, the commitment towards it was what bound us all. So we'll have Harshad to introduce.
Hi, my name is Harshad. I completed my BTech in Production Engineering from College of Engineering, Pune. Talking about competitions, I was into competition since my BTech only. It's very fun to be competing against peers. A lot of learning happens. So that is why competition is one of the mood for me. Post that I worked in Infosys for about a year and a half. Then I took a gap for a CAT preparation and joined Trichy.
Yeah, our team formation actually is absolutely just based on the commitment towards HazeCom, because it is very difficult to give your best when you are in a very rigorous schedule. And I think that is what brought us all together, and that is what is keeping us together as well. It's always been doing a lot of research, doing a lot of discussions, having heated discussions at times, but always coming back to our love towards, learning and knowing more. So that is our team formation actually.
Okay.
So guys, can you tell us something about the Dr. Reddy case and how did you basically approach the problem statement? Is there any structured approach you followed, any frameworks or any primary or secondary research? Can you basically tell us how to approach a case?
So in case of every case is different. So I'll go particularly about Dr. Reddy's case. So they had a problem statement, they had a data exhibits, and the problem statement was bounded by certain guardrails given by data exhibits. So the premise is the emerging markets in the pharmaceutical domain, and there is big, medium, small buckets where we had to call for 3 strategy for optimizing their GTM, investing and expanding. So these 3 strategies, we had to formulate these 3 strategies, and based on certain objectives, certain goals we had to achieve through this strategic calls. So we were bounded by that. In this case, it was not open to external information, but we did deep secondary research through using AI, other web tools, deep into pharmaceutical industry to understand the nuances. Then came back to the case, and we went through the case multiple times. We had discussion, again we go back to the case, we read it again. That was the first process we do when we are looking at the case. Understanding the industry, understanding the problem statement, understanding the case thoroughly, and having the discussion about that. So we might miss a point or two, major critical point, and your teammate might notice that and point out to you, and everything will make sense after a while, and solution will actually emerge from that, emerge from your research and understanding of what that case author wants from you, or the people who have made that case, what do they actually need from us. and we will deliver that. That's about it. Our first solution might not be the best solution, but that's the first step. First, like step two towards the final solution. Then we'll have again critical discussion on it. Somebody will take a devil's advocate portion and will criticize it to the core, and we'll actually reiterate the solution. Like we'll go back, integrate that feedback into it, iterate it, and make it better, one step at a time. And it's a long process. It needs commitment in time and energy. I think that's a process about it. Like,
So I'd like to go one step deeper there. You mentioned about your secondary research. Maybe you would have come across solutions which you were confused about yourselves. How did you eliminate those solutions, by the way? Which approach to take, which not to? Any insight based on your experiences?
Coming to research, I'd actually like to reinforce the importance of using AI to the best. When you have a lot of data, it's often very difficult to focus on what is important and what is not. And with AI, what we found was we were able to get a lot of information, a lot of analysis at the same time. And from there, we were able to funnel out what was required for us, what was not, and accordingly weigh our options. So when it comes to this case specifically, it was a case that required trade-off. That was one of the core objectives of the case itself. And we often had a lot of discussions surrounding that itself, because while financially a certain solution worked better, when you look at other operational feasibilities or some other external feasibilities, there was a change in the solution. So we had a lot of discussions around it, and going for those trade-offs required a lot of research. And that is where I would like to talk about the AI. We were able to learn a lot about the pharmaceutical industry, and I would like to talk about how important market research is in this case, because it is not always that someone knows about the pharmaceutical industry. Say, for example, all three of us, we do not know much about the pharmaceutical industry. So what we did was we started out with very deep insight, very deep analysis into the pharmaceutical industry itself, to know about the trends, to know about the consumer behavior, to see a lot of other information of this sort. And there we worked on it so that we were able to think more creatively with the information that we had. We were not very limited by the knowledge, because it was there and we were able to use it better. So that is where I think research is very important, and that is how we approach the research part of things as well.
Great. So like as you told about the solution, so like slides are like memes, too much text and no one reads the slides. So I want to understand, how did you prepare the slide? Like you had an idea in mind, how did you convey that using the slide? Like as a judge, I would not prefer a too much text slide, and I want to basically understand your approach as well as it must be interesting to me. So how did you manage that?
Okay, so slide is more about storytelling. Okay, so
Yeah.
as Gauri told, as Nitin told, research is one of the best thing that we did. But we had a lot of, like, hundreds of pages of doc files, hundreds of like lot of text we had. But making sense of the text, what text is important specifically, and taking strategic calls based on the text, right? And your slide should convey that strategic call. That was like a good thing that we implemented in each of our slides. The storytelling part, all the strategic calls should align with your story, the flow of the story. That is very important. So one of the like all of the slides, we had multiple iterations. We aligning the text, different font styles, playing at minute scales, even from starting with 15, 14, what should be the font size, what should be the font style. Like we were talking about it, like what should be the font style, because it has a retention span. A lot of things go around where you want to catch the where you want the people to see. Like eye should go there first, like it should go there first, then it should like how it should flow. That was very important. We had each slide almost for Dr. Reddy specifically, each slide took around on an average 4 hours, multiple iterations, around 3 to 4 iterations. We had multiple heated arguments, because of which all the slides, the story, every iteration changed the storyline. Okay, so but our strategic calls remain the same. So your final calls are same, but your story, the way you tell, right, and way you make it implement. our marketing professor used this line: the people who tell stories much better will rule the world. And it played a very important role in our presentation also. Yes.
So can you also tell us a little bit about how you went from storytelling into your presentation to the judges round, when you were approaching the questions which would maybe come to you, and they would be tough questions, right? Maybe you can give an example as well, how your approach was while preparing for your judges questions.
Yeah, so I think when it came to the judges round, what was our primary motive towards approaching the judges round was having a clean PPT. It is very important because, as he said, when the judge looks at the PPT that you're showing, whatever doubts he had about our solution, whatever we are saying, should not be there anymore. Everything has to be there clearly. So that is where storytelling helped us. And we were able to, first, what we did was, when we had a solution in hand, we tried to break it down into steps. And there we tried to have different headings, and that is how we approached each slide. And as he said, we worked towards that. And when it comes to the judges round, I think we discussed amongst ourselves what could be the possible questions that he could ask, or he or she could ask. That is one approach that we used, essentially keeping us completely prepared for anything or everything that can be expected of us. Maybe Nijan can talk.
So one more thing I want to add from the judge's point of view, what I want to implement in slides and our storytelling is frameworks that we actually present. We create frameworks. So anyone can create frameworks. We have idea, we have big chunk of data, our methodology. We need to create a loose, flexible framework around it. So that's so if I say EPIC, and it has that acronym has a expansion, and that's a criteria we use to select some countries, for example, in this country, in this case. So these actually create retention in your judge mind, and you remaining in judge's mind creates a large impact in your final result.
Recall value.
So yes, huge recall value, and that we need to focus on that. How we need to think from judge's perspective. How are they actually looking at our slide? How are they looking at our presentation, our story? Does that make any sense? And look at our how do we actually arrange our visual cues, like Harshit said, and text cues, and do not put anything that you don't understand in the slides. Understand it to the minute detail. Every word we have actually gone through each and every word. We make sure everyone understand we are in the same page, because we didn't want to give any conflicting ideas, like our advice, like our approach to the judges. We should be remaining united with our idea and story. Yeah.
So, how did IIM Tiruchirappalli play a role in your win?
I think the environment that IIM Tiruchirappalli gave us was amazing. Initially, when we started case competitions, it was the ones that was floated by the placement committee. So we worked on a lot of them. We tried around with a lot of different people. Nijan and I think we were together from the beginning. Harshit joined us on the way. So we've been working on it. We've been working on a lot of case competitions, and I think that was because of the effort that the placement committee has given us. And that is how we got to know about these case competitions as well. And then we were actually fortunate enough to have last year's national finalists in our campus. So they were of great help. They gave us a lot of direction as to how we can work on it as well, and what to expect from Dr. Reddy's case competitions. Similarly, I have to definitely mention our marketing professor, Ramendra Pratap sir. He gave us a lot of help. We went with our solution to him. He was able to give us great inputs. He was a great help for us. Be it his classes, be it his mentoring afterwards, it was great. Also, I'd like to talk about the Consulate terminal, because we, as first term students, the knowledge that we have is limited. But through the Consulate terminal, through the amount of information that was put into it, which was very bite-sized. Daily, we are reading a little bit of something which gets retained into our mind. So when it comes to approaching a case comp, it stays in our mind, and we naturally start thinking in that way. So we had a lot of extra information, like extra frameworks that we were able to think through because of the Consulate terminal. And I think entirely as the institution, it's great. We had a great environment. We had a lot of mentors which helped us with the case competition. Yeah.
I would like to add to the point. Okay, so BTech colleges has this coding culture, and our college has a case com culture, and it's growing like fast. People are taking a lot of interest in case comps, specifically after seniors, right? They have a good, like they have a legacy of winning case comps. They have a lot of data points they have left for us to carry on those data points forward, right? So very good culture here in Tiruchirappalli. I am Tiruchirappalli. I loved it from the start itself. From the first case, the placement team they floated till the recent case we are doing. Very good experience.
So adding on to that, now that you're talking about our legacy and seniors as well, what would be your two best advices for juniors who maybe are starting to approach case competitions? What would be your two best learnings if you would maybe share with them how to approach, maybe what are the mistakes they shouldn't commit as part of the case competitions?
So one thing I can tell, the most important aspect of it is the team. One person can't actually like go ahead with a case competition. You need to have a collective thinking, like our diversity among our team, like be it age, our backgrounds, different, and even cultural like aspect. We actually come together to create that solution or problem solving, you can say. So that is one important aspect. You need to enjoy the process, and team makes it enjoyable process, even though it's like sometimes hard to balance with academia, other sports, anything else. Like team is something very important, I would say, when you're approaching case comp. And it's not the skills that entirely like so you are good at Excel, you are good at Canva, PPT. So there's a myth like, oh, one should be very great at PPT, one should be very great at Canva, one should be great at research. I think that is quite, we can actually debunk that myth. I think we play a lot a mixed role at times. Like we all pitch in. Like we don't. That's why the idea is actually always iterative and evolving as we actually put in more effort from all of us. So that's one thing. Second thing is attempt it like with whole heart, like the case. Like go through the case multiple times. Put that time and effort. Maybe not this case, but after a couple of cases, you might get that hunch, insight, like a kick off solving the problem. Like I think this was our case comp as a team together, first case comp. But before that, we had attempted case comps. We had attempted and failed. So sometimes it's disheartening, but that's a process. You need to try 100%. You need to fail and get back again. Do this again, and sometimes you will get victory. And never stop there. We should continuously improve our skill on that. I think, yeah. Anything else we can
That's
add?
it. Because I remember when we started case comps itself, Nitin used to say, if not this, we'll do the next one. We'll do the next one. Because a lot of times in the beginning, we were not able to balance everything together. So I remember at 12, right before the clock struck 12, we used to submit. Weber was one of our teammates as well. So we've done that a lot. And at that time also, instead of being like, okay, this is not working out, this is too much, we kept saying that next one, we'll do better.
Yeah.
And the mindset to keep improving is what is most important.
I'd like to add one point. So, like, even we had the depth we went into it, we had actually physical copies of the case printed. Even the decks were printed. Our decks were printed. We used to mark what all needs to be changed. Like that is a level of commitment we had, and that's how we worked together.
Yeah.
Yes.
In summary, like commitment comes first, rest will follow.
Follow. Yes.
Yeah.
Skill doesn't matter. You have to have
Develop it.
commitment.
So guys, on that note, please let us know in the comment section that this was a very fruitful learning for you. What did you learn out of it, and what maybe we can bring to you in our future videos, and stay tuned to our series. Yeah. That's all from our end.